All right, I'm back. Fragments of memory again. This is part two to a response to Testizel's video about not all black men are shallow. Well, one thing I have peeped too is that, like I said, when a lot of women, let's say a relationship ends, she has a new dude almost just like that. I've had that happen to me where, like, for me, I was by myself, alone, sad, depressed, wondering and thinking nobody's going to ever want me again. I mean, I've been through all of that. So, I would disagree with some of the commenters that say that dudes just bounce back like that. That doesn't really happen. Because I think I found that women have been more attracted to me when I was already in a relationship, when I was already involved with someone, and not when I was single and available and by myself. Well, anyway, I would also like to point out that shallowness and superficiality isn't exclusive only to the black community, but I know you were addressing the black community. I also think that both genders have their own set of dangers and toils and struggles that they go through. And they're not always the same, so we're not going to see eye to eye. For example, a woman's thing is, yes, does he have a car? Does he have his own place? Does he have the right education? Does he have the right earning potential? Where man is, dang, she looked good. Now, I disagree about some guys don't like girls with big old booties. Some guys may not. I knew a guy that really didn't like a lot of the big booty girls. So I would disagree with you there, but I think I understand where you're coming from. There are many women that can get by on their looks, not so much with a man. A man has to produce. Even with the advent of the feminist movement and things like that, a man still has to step up and produce no matter what. Even if he has no education or opportunities, he's supposed to somehow use his special manly testosterone abilities to create opportunities. And that sounds all fine and good in the fairy tales, but that's not reality. Just like the ladies that tell us, hey, she's not the girl in the porno video or the girl in the triple X rated magazine. And she's absolutely correct. Not every man is going to be your shining knight on the white horse to ride you off into the sunset. And that sounds ideal and that sounds romantic, but that's not reality. Testizel, I love your vids. I love the fact that you do bring a dose of reality. And I know you don't bash the ladies, and I know you're merely just pointing out that, or at least this is how I see it. You're a voice for the male perspective, and that's a good thing. You need a guy's perspective because more often than not, and I can speak to my own life, I've been surrounded by women most of my life through family and things like that, and I've been surrounded by the female perspective. The female perspective seems to reign supreme, quote unquote. And sometimes we just need a guy's perspective on the whole male-female relations because for the longest, we've just been hearing the female voice screaming and shouting to the heavens. Or at least growing up in the 90s, I heard the female perspective just shouted down at me. I know the ones that change woman to women, when the word women, instead of the E in women, it's now a Y, rebelling against the patriarchy. Well, that's all. That may be, that might help you feel empowered, but just as there's misogyny, there's also misandry. And I think for every woman talking about misogyny, no one really has their mouth open when it comes to misandry. So I do appreciate the fact that you do kick out at least a guy's perspective. I appreciate guys like G-Man Live Forever on it. He too brings a male perspective to the table, just as Dan Freeman did. Like, what the heck happened to him? I thought his vids were good. I thought his vids were good. I'm not saying that I co-sign on everything that he does, but he makes a lot of good points and he makes a good case for men. Because I think today we have a lot of things for women. Girls rock, girls rule, this, that, and the third. But there's no real male perspective anymore. We've been sort of abandoned by our fathers. We've been abandoned by the greater society at large. And I think there needs to be a male perspective brought to the table. So I want any woman who may watch my videos to know I'm not here to like bash you over the head. I'm just here to be like, look, fragments of memory, aka armchair philosopher, he's going, hey, look, I see what goes on the female side because I see it all the time. I'm presented with a female perspective all the time. But I don't always get the guy's perspective. Our perspective seems to get ignored or dismissed. So I try to bring some balance to it. So I'm not trying to sit here and beat women over the dome or anything like that. Okay, enough of that. I think I've ranted a little bit, but yeah, Testizel and anyone who might be watching this, I personally agree with you that the rejection that women may face, they don't face the same type of rejection as men do, I think. Where I think we sort of it's just the way the game is structured. And I'm not even asking women to quote unquote change, but I do want women to think that hey, just guys have feelings too, guys have a perspective too. To reject is one thing, to try to destroy a dude's ego from the top to the bottom is another. Well, that's my 2 cents on the subject. I know I did it in 2 parts, but that's because this vid only allows me 10 minutes per session, so I try to get in all my words when I can. Thank you very much for tuning in. Rate, subscribe, leave your feedback, give a video response. There you go. Take care.